So our mission at Talkatoo, as you probably know, we're out to save vets time in their day on their medical records. And we had some new tools for a more enhanced workflow, especially if you're just used to using Talkatoo for dictation. And so the problem persists. Time is still a huge constraint for us, and recalling everything after every appointment can be difficult sometimes. So how nice would it be to not have to remember and to not forget information? So we built a tool for that to help you capture important details in the room in real time, and we call that AutoSoap. And it's made dictating from anywhere possible with a mobile device. So you can use a cell phone or use a tablet, anything with an app store or a Google Play Store. You can download the mobile app for Talkatoo. If you're on the call, you've already got it, you've been using it, I urge you to check the App Store or the Google Play Store and check if there's an update available. We're updating it frequently. If it's out of date, it may be causing issues. So check that out. Make sure you're up to date. And this tool has really changed the game for a lot of our users. Some of them are on this call maybe, and hopefully you will become some of them if you haven't yet found this tool or learned how it works. And I'm gonna take you through a demonstration as to how it works and show you the various buttons on the app. After this call, if you don't have it, I'm going to email you the link to download it, the page that kind of takes you there, and some next steps, some things to practice with this tool with AutoSoap. And so high level, you can take it on the go. You can record client interactions in real time, and you can take your phone in there and actually record a conversation. So background noise is less of an issue with this tool opposed to desktop dictation, which typically requires a good noise canceling microphone. So those are some high level differences from desktop dictation to auto soaping. So without further ado, I'm going to attempt to get my screen up here for you guys. So this is our mobile app. You can put this on an iPad or like a Samsung tablet, a cell phone, iOS or Android. This is the main screen of the app. There is a toggle switch in here at the top, so you can go between our mobile mic, which pairs up to our desktop widget, which many of you know already. So if you're not interfacing with the desktop widget at all, and you want to use AutoSoap, you want to live over here. This is your tape recorder. Consider this a tape recorder you could bring in the room, or you could dictate into it after a room if you're unable to record it live for some reason. A lot of mobile vets will use this on the go between visiting sites. And so it's a very simple interface. The button in the middle is your on and off switch. So every time you tap this button, it's going to start a new recording. Each recording you make, you want to talk about one patient because it's going to produce one soap note for you. When I tap the button in the middle, it'll start the recording, and you'll see some movement on the screen. This tells you it's on, it's live. And how this works is at the beginning of the recording, whatever you say near the beginning will end up as your title. So if you mention the patient name or the owner name or the ID or the date, those are things that will factor into the title of this note when we go to look for it later. You can leave the phone or the device in the room on a flat surface. Ideally, a couple feet away is really the best place to leave it. Think of it as a call on speakerphone. You want to have it a couple feet away so it can hear you. And then you'll go through your exam, and you may be conversing with a technician at some point or with the owner at some point. It's going to take all the relevant details and try to produce you a soap note. It's going to disregard the irrelevant details, which a lot of people are wondering about before they've used this. There's a lot of small talk that goes on inside the room. That shouldn't be factored in unless it's important or relevant to the history, for example. You can stop and start these as needed. Ideally, you can leave it running the whole appointment, but if you did need to stop it at any point, you can tap here, and that's going to stop the recording. It's helpful to talk about the keywords. So there's body systems in our SOAP template that we'll see in a moment. It's helpful to mention those. So you want to talk about what's abnormal, and it will replace the normal statements that are kind of preloaded into the Talkatoo template. And then if you can say what your assessment is and what your plan is, whether you're weaving that into dialogue with the owner in the room or you're stating it out loud to the phone, that will all get factored in. Let's talk about a couple more buttons on here. If I were to stop it, it takes me here. Right now it's loading up a preview of the note. And if I needed to back out of this note for any reason, check on another room, if an emergency came in, I could click back at the top left, and that'll get me to the main screen. Most cases, you'll end up submitting the note right away. So when you've stopped the recording, you'll see the submit note button at the bottom here, and you can go ahead and click that right away if you're done. If you want to do an additional segment, you can click add to this note, which will resume the recording. And again, when you see this blue waveform, that tells you you're live, and you can add more findings here. When you're finished, you'll submit the note. It'll take you back to the main screen, and you're going to rinse and repeat this process for all of your rooms, and we'll capture something for you for every single appointment. You can see the list of notes that you've started by clicking at the bottom here. You can see your note inbox. So clicking here will show you all of the rooms that you've started. You'll notice this one here is a draft. I haven't actually submitted this one, but the one above I clicked submit, so it's now loading up. And then the other two I have, they're already up there. They're already uploaded into my portal. So if I wanted to come back into a draft note to add more, I would just click on the one I'm interested in, and now I can add to the note and put some more findings in here before clicking submit note, which is at the bottom here. And so the real magic of using this tool, AutoSoap, is that you can record an entire conversation, which is really a game changer. So you can take it in there, and you won't have to remember kind of what you talked about, whether you're using our full SOAP result completely into your practice management software, or you're just referencing it to type up some additional notes for client communications, or you want to have a transcript or an audio recording of all those rooms. You've got all of it by using the mobile app. So what happens next? You're probably wondering. So the first thing I want to show you, this is our website. So you've probably been here at some point, talkatoo.com. Here you can log in. So at the top right, you can click log in, and that will take you to your management portal. Every user on your subscription has their own portal and their own profile. So you'll sign in with your profile, you'll see all of your notes, and on the left-hand side is where they show up. So you'll see the name of the appointment based on what it heard near the beginning. So patient name, reason for the visit, that'll produce you the title. Just click on the note. Are you
showing that right now?
Yes. Thank you so much for the heads up. Amazing. Thank you. You're a lifesaver. And we're back. Okay, so first place I want to show you is our website. And at the top right, you can log in. When you click log in, it takes you here. This is your management portal. And you'll see all of your rooms on the left-hand side. So when they're finished loading up, this is where they appear. And the title of the note, again, is on the left side. So you'll just find the one you're interested in, click on it, and it's going to load up that SOAP result. And here is where you'll see the end result of that audio recording you took in the room or outside of the room. And it actually starts up at the top with the transcript. So here you'll see everything that was discussed. You can kind of hide or show that as needed. And then below, you've got your subjective portion with the history. You've got your vitals here. Body systems show up here. And then you've got your assessment and plan. This is the first way to view the result. The second way you can view your result is actually right off of the dictation widget. And we'll get to that next. But high level, once you've got your note, your goal is to put this into the practice management software. And you can do that by copying it out of here. So there's a copy button on each portion. There's also a copy entire note button at the top right, and that will grab all of the text. You can then paste it in where it needs to go. On the left side, you don't want to see all your finished scribed notes, right? We're not interested in the stuff we've already dealt with. So you can complete and archive a note once you've moved it over to the practice management software, and that will store it over here in your archived folder. So you're only seeing new material that's coming in throughout your day. You know what you want to move over. One of the more exciting updates we pushed out in the past few weeks is SOAP customization. So this is kind of the standard layout of the SOAP results, but at the top right of your web portal, you can click the gear icon and this will show you your whole SOAP template. And it starts with your subjective where you can choose a row by row display, bullet points or numbers, or you could have a paragraph display, making it a bit easier to read. If you wanted to toggle that off entirely, you could. And then just below, you've got the option to bold the headers and you can rename your systems as well. So this function here lets you pick a similar name. You don't want to make up an entire new system. However, a friend of mine on the call, I think, went through this at some point and it kind of backfired. So you don't want to make up a brand new system. Rather, you just want to pick a new name for the system that's very similar and describes the same area of the body, but just a different kind of header name. You can plug in a different normal value as well. So if we don't talk about the system, it should load up with whatever your statement is here. And the default will be within normal limits, but you can type in whatever you're comfortable with here. You could disable a system as well if you don't want it showing. And then you've got those same radio buttons for your assessment and your plan. The important piece here is you want to click save once you've made a change so that your future notes that upload, they're going to have that formatting available. Some limitations to this that you should know. Certain practice management softwares won't display the rich text being like the bullet point itself, but it will show you the row by row display. So it just depends on what system you have. We are working on fixing that for certain systems to make the bullet points display or the numbers display. But this is a really great feature that we finally pushed out to make things look a bit better, more customized. Excellent. So that's Auto SOAP. The next thing I want to show you is the second way to retrieve those results. So with your practice management software, whether it's web-based or it's right on the computer on a server, it can be cumbersome if you don't do a split screen going from our website back to your practice management software. Some of you may know what I mean if you've been using this already. So the second and faster way to get the results is from your widget. So you can click on the plus sign here, which launches up our dictation assistant. And I'm just getting that back up for us here. So the plus sign is going to launch your dictation assistant, which is another feature we'll look at shortly. If you toggle over to the left, you'll see your same two lists of notes, whether they're in your inbox or they're archived. And you can click on the note to open it up, and then you can paste it in a similar fashion. So you'll see the same 4 portions, but they're a bit smaller. But the benefit here is that this is floating on top of your practice management software. Some PIMS systems will let you drag and drop the result in, which is fantastic. Some won't, and if that's the case, just copy, right-click, paste to get it in there, or you could copy the entire note as well. You've got the same audio playback function at the bottom, and then you've got the same complete button at the bottom as well. Back to your list, you'll see the whole display. So those are the 2 options to get your notes. The benefit of grabbing them from the website is you can edit the notes easily. Once you paste them in from either direction, you can edit them in your PIMS. But if you want to do it here in the web portal, this would be the way to go. And you can actually dictate in here as well. So we could use the dictation widget to add findings in here, or just do a passage, or maybe do an insert command if you use Taka Text, which is in your menu here. So that would be the major benefit of doing it from the web. Doing it from the widget is nice because you can kind of drag and drop or copy paste in a quicker view. Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to switch gears and I'm going to show you our other feature that is on the list of topics today. We're looking at the dictation assistant, and you can launch this up by clicking the plus sign, and you can return back to regular dictation with the minus sign. So this feature does a variety of cool things to help you with low value tasks. So if you've got a communication to write up to a client, or you've got a phone call, like a call back with an owner, You can use this to summarize it. You can also do custom templates inside of here, and at the bare minimum, the kind of simplest thing it will do is it will spell check your results. So if you're just dictating, you just want to do a passage, if I turn it on, whatever I dictate inside of here, it's going to spell check, which can be a handy feature if you're noticing a lot of punctuation errors or mistakes, or if you tend to fumble when you start dictation, which I do often. This will help you tremendously because it's going to remove the double entries, add the missing punctuation, and help with capitalization as well. So just stopping a dictation in here, it'll do a thinking process. It usually takes about 10-15 seconds, and then it'll spit it back to you in this window with the fixes or corrections that it sees it can make. So the green box is what you've said, the blue box is what it's sent back to you. And typically this will rewrite it, make it a bit smarter. So if you're like me, you might find dictating in here a big benefit, and it will increase the accuracy of your dictations. You can actually start a new conversation in here by clicking new and filter back to previous threads that you've had with the assistant. And the coolest thing you can do with it is prompt it. So there are a few prompts baked in here. The first one is write a client communication about. So you could click this, start dictation, and talk about the patient that you're looking to write about. You could talk about high level, the different topics you wanted in the email, or you could paste something in here as well, which is something that a lot of people don't know. So if you were in one of your notes over here, you could take, say, the plan, and then or maybe the whole note if you wanted to, toggle here and write a com and paste. And you can paste text in here by clicking Control V on a Windows or Command V on a Mac. So that will drop text in here, and then you can just click enter, and that will run a command through the assistant. And that's a great way to take one of your medical notes, drop that in your PIMS, but then you want to run a client comm, just toggle over here to the assistant window. All of the results it produces for you, you can copy out from here. So just click on the gray box, that puts it on your clipboard. And then whether you're pasting into your email or you're pasting into your PIMS, you're just going to right click, paste, or Control V. That will drop the message out into the desired spot. You can also use your imagination in here. So if there's something that you want it to do, it's worth asking. A great example is something like this. Please write me a radiology report of a 3-view abdominal radiograph with foreign material in the stomach, excessive gas, and mineralized renal pelvises. The radiologist's name is Jamie. The date today is July 31st, and patient name is Fluffy. And I fumbled a bit, which I often do when I'm dictating. And the beautiful thing about this is it's pretty smart. It'll figure out kind of what I wanted it to do. And so now it's written me up a nice report here with my findings, and it's come up with a conclusion. So I could copy this and drop it into practice management software, for example. You can turn it on again, and that's the cool thing about this. It's much like ChatGPT, where it's like an ongoing thread. So I could then ask it for another command. For example, please wrap up the above findings into an email to Dr. Robert and include my signature at the bottom and my phone number, 332-208-1767. And you can reference back above what you've talked about before, which is really neat. If you're switching topics entirely, I recommend clicking new. That's going to clear the board and it won't reference topics from above. So that's how you can kind of keep on one topic without looking at what you spoke about before. It can also translate, which can be handy. So I could say, please translate the above email into Spanish and put the body into bullet points, please. And you don't have to say please when you talk to it, but I like to be nice to it. So it's nice to me more often than not. And pasting text in here and asking it to translate it works wonderfully. But formatting into bullet points or numbered lists works really well too. So a cool kind of thought to try in here is a phone call summary. And Walter, I see your hand there. Let me show this last use case of the assistant, and then would love to explore your question. So the prompt in here, summarize, is a really handy one for callbacks. So if you're constantly calling owners back and giving them updates, rather than dictating the notes after the fact, using desktop dictation, saying spoke to owner, discussed this and that, you can open up your assistant, click summarize, and have it hear your phone call. And whether you're on a speakerphone or you're doing just a one-way call, it can't hear them. A great way to frame this up is to do what I'd say is called active listening. So when I call Dr. Robert, I say, hey, Dr. Robert, it's Jamie calling from Lakeshore Veterinary Clinic. Do you have a couple minutes? Oh, you do? Perfect. Okay, I just want to talk you through these findings here in the radiographs. There's a foreign body in the stomach. Do you know if he's gotten into anything unordinary, diet-wise? The garbage. Oh, yikes. Okay, that's not too uncommon. I would recommend we bring him back here for another scan. Do you have any availability this week? Thursday? Okay, yeah. What day? What time on Thursday? 2 p.m. Wonderful. That works for us. So bring him on by. We'll do another scan and we'll just rule out anything else that might be of interest. So we'll look forward to seeing you, and thanks for the call. And my fictional phone call was one way, right? It wasn't on speaker, but I actively kind of replayed the key points. And we often do that without realizing. So if you do click summarize, you'll end up with a nice distilled phone call summary. And a trick that one of our users taught me just the other day is you could pre-prompt it to do, you could say, please summarize my phone call into bullet points, and then leave it listening and go straight into the conversation. That'll write it in bullet points, which I found to be a nice little hack, instead of stopping it, starting it again, and asking for those bullets. Excellent. Okay, so now we've looked at most use cases of the assistant. I know questions are brewing right now. I want to show one last use case before we dive into questions, and that would be custom templates inside of Tada, or the assistant. So if you are dealing with a very specialized template in your practice management software, and this SOAP layout doesn't really fit, even if you've come over here to our settings page and made some changes, if it's more specialized than that, you can create a custom template. And you can do that inside of the Taka Text window. So you can open and close your menu on the widget and jump over to Taka Text. In here, you can build commands, whether they're just a block of text like this one that you might insert somewhere in your record, or they're more of a blank template to fill in. You can create those. So a friend on the call, actually, this is one of theirs, similar, just was an example at some point in time. So you can create these by clicking add a new command. And here you could paste something in from an existing form that you have in your practice management software. The trick is to reformat it and make it simple. That's the trick when you're doing custom templates with the assistant. And what you want it to look like is something like this, just a display of rows that features all of the headings you'd want in the template. So you're just going to put the word and a colon, and then you can drop it down 2 lines and do your next couple rows. And then you'll name the template up here where it says insert. You'll pick a keyword. And then once you've done that, you should have something that looks like this, where you've got a bunch of headings that have colons beside them. And you can pre-fill rows as well. So if you want to put like a normal statement in to replace during the dictation or to leave there, you can do that as well. And you can fully customize this. You can make it as custom as you want, but there are some limitations, I'll warn you. So the less words in the header name, the better. So try to simplify it down, and that will really help it kind of format the text. So to do this, create your template, open your assistant, and then you're going to start dictation and say the template name. For mine, it's new template. So I'll start out like insert new template, new paragraph. And at this point, I see the cue card of my template, right? I can see every single header listed there from the top to the bottom. And I said new paragraph just to make some space in here so I can really read it. And to do this, you do have to be at your workstation, right? It could be a laptop or a workstation, but you can't record this in a room because the conversation can't really factor into this template. So instead, you want to be at your workstation, you want to pop this up, and then you're going to read it top to bottom like a cue card. And you're going to start with the heading name and then the finding, and then the next heading name and the finding. And so from the top, I'll show you a quick example. Insert new template, new paragraph. Weight 63 kilograms, temp 101, heart rate 90 beats per minute, diet raw food and kibble, RX, gabapentin, and butorphanol. Replace attitude behavior with aggressive, replace hydration with severely dehydrated, assessment, healthy puppy exhibiting signs of a seasonal allergy, plan, dispense Apoquel 16 milligrams, recheck in 2 weeks, and schedule a dental. Excellent. When I stop it, it goes through its normal thinking process here. And the blurb at the bottom, this is all the important information up here. This will get applied to those blank headings. And you may have noticed I said at certain points, replace, and I was mentioning the lines that already had a finding. So I said replace attitude with, replace hydration with, and it will spit back your result here with everything filled in. So my RX row, my diet row, and then it's replaced the body systems that I'd asked it to do. And so this is all one block of text. So I can copy this and paste it out into the practice management software. Very similar to how I would paste out one of my soap notes, my auto soaps, whether it's the whole thing or the individual section. Okay, so that's a pretty comprehensive look at what those features can do. And we are a bit ahead of the schedule. So I know there are some questions, and I'm just going to open the chat first. And Kendall, thanks for the heads up on my screen share. And perfect. Walter, I think you had your hand up at some point, so maybe start with you. You can go ahead and take yourself off mute there if you still have a question.
Yeah, the question was, what other languages besides Spanish does it translate into?
Great question. It can do more than 90 languages as far as I know. So you'd be better off trying it than me trying to tell you what it is, because it probably can do it. So it's not just Spanish. It's, yeah.
Just wanted to make sure it wasn't just Spanish.
Totally. Yeah. No, great question. And that's a fun thing with the assistant, right? When you pop this open, like if you're wondering if it can do something, just try it, right? Because it might just do it for you. And the more specific you are with your instructions, if you're not just dictating in here for spell check, the better it will do typically. Awesome. Okay, cool. And then Dr. Green, I think you had a question there.
Yeah, hi, Jamie. I have 2 questions, if that's okay. The first one is, we talked a little bit ago about where we might end up putting labs and diagnostic results in the auto soap with our customizable changes. Have we got anywhere with that, or do you have suggestions?
Yeah, great question. So right now there's no ability to do a subheading in the SOAP template. So if you wanted to add a subheading in the assessment, for example, for like diagnostics or x-rays, there's not a good way to do it right now. But those findings are supposed to be ending up in that area. So we did update it, I think a week or 2 back. So it should be pulling that information in more often than not. In the future, we're going to build that feature so that you could put a subheading in here if you wish, or put a subheading in the plan for it to factor in. But still no major updates there, Dr. Green. It's still kind of as we spoke last time. And if you did want to really categorize stuff into x-rays, blood work, etc., into those subheadings, I would recommend doing it this way, where you can build out those subheaders with the Taka text flow. Of course, downside, you can't do it in the room, but you'll at least have it formatting in a way that is more in line with your hopes there.
Okay, so the subheaders would end up being under assessment. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. And then with when you're creating your title, etc., when you're dictating your notes, it sounded like you just said the patient's name and presenting complaint, and it created that as a title. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. The first few identifying pieces of information that it hears in the room, or when you're dictating to it, like I was earlier, that's typically going to be your title. So it's going to come up with something based on what it hears near the beginning of the note. So how some people will do this is before they enter the room, they might start the note and say the exact title that they would want, stop it, and then enter and start. That's one way to consider titling it. That way you could read out the patient ID, the date, all that stuff that you might want in the title. Once it loads up here in the web portal, Dr. Green, you could click up here to edit the title, and you can type something new in that makes more sense if it was a bit of a miss.
Okay, thank you. I think that's all the questions I have at the moment.
Amazing. Thank you so much for the questions. And I'm going to jump down here to Robin, who asked, how long do these archives remain? Which is a really great question. So once we click complete and archive in our web portal, like so, or if you do that from your widget, which is also possible, so you'll see the same button here, you'll archive the note. These will remain in the archived section forever, so you're not going to lose them at any point in time, and you'll have both the SOAP and the transcript stored forever. So this could come in handy if you needed to look up a appointment, take a look through what was agreed upon or talked about. The transcript and the SOAP note will be here forever, and your audio file is right here as well that you can play back. And this is useful to generate communications off of as well. Taking the transcript sometimes and kind of looking through what was said. And additionally, if you didn't want a SOAP template, if you just wanted plain text, you could click no template and generate that, and it'll just give you the plain text of what was recorded in there. Awesome. Okie doke. So next we've got, how long does it take to process? And this is a great question. Today, it should take no more than 2 minutes. I'd say 2, 3, maybe 4 minutes. Depends on how long it is. Although the last couple of weeks, there's been some issues and the upload time was significantly stalled. So if that was you the past couple of weeks, apologies from us. I know that was probably a huge pain, but we've got that sorted and fixed up again. So it's been steadily improving, and then here and there it's taken a hit as we've taken 2 steps back and 2 steps forward, small step back, but we've stabilized. Things are uploading quickly now, so it shouldn't be more than a handful of minutes. And you can actually track the progress of the upload when you're looking at it in the widget. You'll see a small circle here form once you click submit, and you'll see the kind of loading animation of that process time. It shouldn't be more than a couple minutes though at this point. And then another question here is, can you delete recordings? That's a great question. So when you've submitted a note, which means you've pressed submit on the mobile app and sent it off to the computer, whether it's in the web or in the widget, once you've done that, there's no way to delete a recording or a note. It's going to be in your portal or your widget. And the best thing to do if you don't need it anymore is just archive it. That will folder it here. And you can search these up historically. So you could type in a name, patient name, and try to search it up that way. And yeah, you can't delete a submitted note, though a draft note, which means a note you've started on the mobile device and then you backed out of. And I'm going to try to pop that open here for us. Excellent. If I click at the bottom of my inbox, which I'll see where I see all of the draft notes, notes I can still work on. At the bottom, you'll see one here that's still a draft. If I click here, I can open it back up to either add to the note, submit the note, or go back. to the list. And I can also delete the note because it's still a draft. So if I click the three dots, that'll give me an option that'll give me an option to delete the note, and that will just remove it from your list. So you can no longer work on it or see it. But once you've submitted it, just archive it, and then it'll folder it for you. Awesome. And Dr. Green asked, can we use AirPods or earbuds to record on our phone now? You should be able to. I know that you were having some trouble with yours, so you should be able to, and I'd be interested to hear if anybody else has had experience with that. But at the top left, you'll see the mic option here where you would click to choose your preferred microphone. So in theory, yes, I know you've had issues with the Dr. Green, and hopefully we'll get to the bottom of it. So apologies, that's been an issue for you still to this day, but you do have that option. It might be the headset, to be quite honest, but we definitely need to continue trying that out together. Awesome. Dr. Sheck, I think you've got a raised hand there. And you're just on mute there.
No, I actually was just going to say I have to jump off this call, but I appreciate. I just wanted to say thank you, Jamie, for you and everyone. Your customer service is outstanding, and I appreciate all you've done to help us here. So.
That means a lot. Thank you so much. Thanks for hopping on today and hanging out with everybody. Thank you. Awesome. Okay, so if there are any more questions, oh, perfect. We've got Dr. E. And Dr. E is asking, are the assistant and I'm guessing SOAP features only available on desktop? Don't see how to access on the app. Yeah, that's a great question. That's a great distinction here. So there are a lot of tools, right? You can get the app on your mobile device, you can get the desktop app, and you can get the web app up on any machine. So an important detail is this feature here, the plus sign opening your assistant, dictation assistant. This is just on a computer. So you do need the dictation widget to launch this up. So you need to see your dictation bar to be able to launch this open. And that's where you can kind of prompt it, ask it to do things, record your phone calls, generate reports. We are hoping to bring this to the mobile app in the near future, which segues nicely into kind of one of the closing topics as maybe more questions roll in. And thank you for the question, Dr. Estimer. Well, I think we're going to get there. So it's on the roadmap. We're going to bring this into the phone and the tablet. But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about kind of future updates that are coming just around the corner here. So soon in August, I've been told, we'll have the ability to record auto SOAPs from the desktop. So from the desktop widget, you could start a whole appointment recording, which will be great because if you've got a workstation in your room or you've got a laptop in the room with you, in there you could just start the whole appointment recording instead of using the mobile device. And so that's been heavily requested. We're getting really close. And then additionally, upcoming updates, we've got in the settings page the ability to change the vitals portion. So right now you can't actually edit the objective portion's vitals, which includes the temp, the heart rate, the breathing, and you can do all the body systems. I'll just show you the template again here. So this would be a blank example, but you can't add normals in today for the vitals. So finally, we're getting close. We're working on that. You'll be able to disable any rows in the vitals, all of them if you want, but also add a normal. So we're really excited about that. I'm personally really excited about that because it's also been heavily requested. So looking forward to that. And then by the end of September, we should have a really sleek phone call recording feature like right in the mobile app. So you could place a call out of the Talkatoo app and it will automatically build you that phone call summary, and it will be available to you as a note. So you can come back and find the phone call summary in your list of notes rather than needing to open your assistant, kind of prompt it to summarize and not having that stored forever. So again, any conversation you have with the assistant, you can go back and forth, but it won't be stored in your list, which is accessible on the web or the widget. So we're building the phone call summary right into the app, and we're really excited about this. It's going to save you a load of time. If you're already using this quite a bit, the summarize feature, you'll really love the phone call summaries on mobile. So we're working towards that as well. Lots more is planned. We've got accuracy updates, speed updates coming kind of in the background, but those are the major features that we're expecting by the end of September. Again, if you don't have the app on your mobile device yet for AutoSoap, I'm going to send you all the links you need to get started with it. You can also book a one-to-one training with me or my colleagues, and we'll try to pick things apart and make things work for you. One last topic that's important to consider if you haven't used AutoSoap yet yourself is getting the stuff into your practice management software. All of these PIMs are built differently, as you know, and a lot of them look something to the effect of this, where you've got a form that has maybe check boxes and many grids and different areas to paste information in. And so when you're using AutoSoap, recording your whole appointment, in a perfect world, you'll open the note and you'll just drag drop the whole thing right in. The next best option will be to copy all and right click paste it in. But if you're dealing with a template that looks like this, you're going to have trouble. And so this is something I can help you with more than likely on a one-to-one call, but just saving a new template, maybe call it Talkatoo Soap, and you could have this stored in your practice management software. That way, when you record your whole appointment, you can just click in and in one click paste the entire note. That's a way easier way to get the information in there, just either drag, drop, or copy paste. So consider your template now and kind of how you could make using Talkatoo even easier. That's something we'd love to help you with. So I'll include our calendar link in that email as well. That will come shortly after this call. Excellent. So yeah, we've also got something on our website. It's called the Ideas Portal. And I want all of you to know about it because all of your ideas and feedback is super important to us. And it drives a lot of what we're doing at Talkatoo. So I just want to point out, if you do have a great idea for us, or you see an idea that someone else on the call or in the Talkatoo world has posted, you can see all of the ideas by clicking customer feedback right here at the bottom of our website. So just come down to the bottom. That'll take you to our ideas portal. And here you can vote on ideas that other people have posted. You can also post your own ideas. And we really love seeing these. So I'm going to send you the link to this as well, and definitely welcome your input there. And that brings us towards the end of this call. So in terms of the agenda, we're pretty well wrapped up on the AI updates. Lots more to come. Please don't be shy in terms of booking time with us. That's why we're here. And if there's any other questions, I'll stick on, be happy to take them. Otherwise, thank you so much for being here and taking the time to learn about this stuff. Give it a try if you haven't yet. And hopefully I'll see you on the next one. We'll have some new stuff to talk about.